Hello and welcome aboard the Shipper. Nigerian Shippers Council over the years has ensured continuous engagement with stakeholders to strengthen relationships, accountability and compliance with policy directions for repositioning the maritime industry. On today's program, we shall be looking at the Nigerian Shippers Council ESCEO's visit to the Northeast Zonal Directorate in Bauchi and the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund (CVFF) from the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Details will come your way after the short break.
For more than 5 decades, we have empowered and protected the interests of shippers in the nation's maritime industry. Our focus is to facilitate trade, regulate tariffs and rates, as well as handle shippers' complaints on cargo losses, damage and non-delivery. We offer dispute resolution mechanism for shipping and trade disputes between shippers and service providers. We are Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, your gateway to a thriving maritime sector. Nigerian Shippers Council will meet you at the port of your need.
Welcome back. This is The Shipper, the flagship maritime program on television, beamed out of Nigeria and proudly brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, the nation's port economic regulator. I am Victoria Yavala. Determined to sustain engagement with stakeholders in the maritime sector, the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius, MON, recently had an interactive session with stakeholders in the Northeast Zone of the country. Additional Abiodun compiled the report presented by Lucy Yambi.
The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius, MON, led a team from the council on a visit to the Northeast Zonal Coordinating Office, Bauchi. The aim of the visit, amongst other things, was to promote regional integration in shipping activities and support export in alignment with the current administration's goals of enhancing the nation's resources through the blue economy. During the visit, the council held an interactive meeting with stakeholders in the zone. Speaking at the interaction session, the Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer of the Council, Dr. Akuta Pius, MON, said the implementation of the proposed inland dry port in the Northeast would attract imports and exports from neighboring African countries, which he said will further boost the African Continental Free Trade Area after.
I bring you good message from the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, who is the First Minister for the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, the man who is setting the tone for the marine and blue economy in Nigeria to thrive, the man who has developed a policy for marine and blue economy in Nigeria, which has captured all sectors of the marine and blue economy, the man who is reshaping all the agencies under his ministry for productivity, for higher performance, to ensure that the diversification agenda of Mr. President becomes a reality. As the President is committed to moving the economy of this country from oil dependence into the export and import sector of the economy. Commitment of Mr. President to develop trade and ensure that we participate fully in that respect is coming at a time when Nigeria has already signed up to the African Free Continental Trade Area. And by joining that, automatically we have joined a free market of over 1,300,000,000 people. So our comparative advantage, which has been the number as the most populous black nation on earth, is now subsumed into one free African market, meaning that we have to up our game. And in upping our game, we have to develop critical national infrastructures that will support trade and also stimulate the production economy from small-scale industries coming up. Infrastructures that will move our products freely across African market. We are good to go. And there are trade routes that we also have to look at and follow them to ensure that we're not losing out anything. One of the areas of challenge in terms of implementation of the African Free Continental Trade Area Agreement is the area of logistics. We have boundaries. Bauchi State, Borno have boundaries. Adamawa, they have boundaries with other countries here. I think about 3 or 4 countries. We need to also capture those countries under that agreement to be able to let them use our ports as ports for which they can export and import the products they need in their countries. Before we can achieve that, we need to develop these infrastructures and make them very efficient so that every one of them will come here to use our facilities.
He also said that Council has received federal government approval to revive the Cargo Defense Fund, CDF.
Cargo Defense Fund, which is a fund that was established to also take care of certain issues around the value chain in the shipping subsector. Fund was not sustainable because there was nothing that was being done to continue to build on that fund. So at some point, it was no longer functional. I'm happy to announce to you that the Honourable Minister has reopened that fund, and we are looking at some funds coming into that fund. And we are making up a standard operating procedure that will govern the administration of that fund, plus an investment culture of that fund, so that the fund will continue to revolve and become sustainable, so that when shippers are faced with real issues, that fund can come to their help.
The Executive Governor of Bauchi State, His Excellency Bala Mohammed, who was represented by the Commissioner of Commerce, Industry and Investment, Honorable Mohammed Salis Gamawa, described Council as a game changer.
We thank you most sincerely, with all clear-eyed honesty and modern optimism, for finding the region worthy to be visited, and of course to hear the yearning of stakeholders in the state. Of course, you can't do export without the Shippers Council. Shippers Council, they are the gateway for all that you could ever need as regards to export business. So we have lots in common, and recently, His Excellency, after my deployment in the ministry, he sent me to go as a peer review mechanism to learn from the Dala Inland Dry Port, to learn from Kaduna Inland Dry Port, for us to look into the possibilities of establishing or making possible for our own inland dry port to come into limelight and of course to set into implementation.
The Zonal Coordinator, Northeast Office of NSC, Mr. Nanli Nambol, welcomed the Council's boss to the Northeast region. He described Dr. Akuta Pius as a result-oriented chief executive with milestone achievements recorded within his few years in office.
This no doubt shows the level of commitment of the years in the promotion of foreign trade and ensuring the effective economic regulation of the ports to ensure efficiency, cost effectiveness in line with the presidential renewal agenda. Our result-oriented CEO has accomplished a lot, but let me just mention a few. He contributed substantially in the development and implementation of a national policy for marine and blue economy. Completion and operationalization of critical transport infrastructure, such as Funtua Inland Dry Port. The Potiskum Vehicle Transit Area will soon be commissioned. Extensive progress on the actualization of the Meduguri IDP is also on stream. Automation of the processes for confirmation of reasonableness of freight rates, demurrage, and charter parties. Promotion of efficiency in the nation's ports through our regulatory functions. Deployment and operationalization of enterprise content management. Negotiated and facilitated the signing of an agreement on minimum standards of conditions of service. So many, I can go on and on.
The President, Shippers Association of Bauchi State, Alhaji Muniru Umar, applauded the Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius, for the visit to the Northeast, noting that the visit has demonstrated his exceptional style of leadership.
We are very happy he has come to us. We have discussed issues like synthesization, telling the people what is actually shipping. Because the Shippers Association, they are just like our lawyers. It's good we divert because we have minerals. We have minerals, we have agricultural products, we have textiles to export. We can't depend on oil always.
The President of Gombe State Shippers Association, Alhaji Adamu Manja, called on the council to reopen its office in Gombe due to its utility for shippers in the state.
Before, we have an area office there in Gombe, but unfortunately, it has been closed down since 2010, 2011. We don't know what is happening. And being Gombe at the center, in fact, we even deserve the zonal office to be there in Gombe. But unfortunately, even the area office has been taken away. We don't know what is happening there, sir. So, in view of that, we are recommending Gombe area office to be restored back because it has caused a number of atrocities. It has caused a number of discouragement, particularly to the shippers. Even though the directorate has been doing wonderfully well in organizing seminars, workshops, and among others. But had it been that we have that area office in Gombe, it would have been better for us to encourage even other people that are not into shipping activities because we have a number of potentialities there.
Other stakeholders also spoke at the program.
Talking about Shippers Council in the Northeast. The Northeast is strategically positioned in this country. It is the largest geopolitical zone in Nigeria. It is the only zone that has the second, the third, the fifth, and the sixth largest state in Nigeria. The second largest being Borno, the third largest being Taraba, the fifth largest being Bauchi, and the sixth largest being Yobe. We are the only region in this country. We have a lot of potentials, and we want the federal government to do as much as possible to develop this region because we passed through so many years of insurgency. Over 80% of all the businesses in the region has been destroyed by insurgency. So if there's any region that is looking for any concession, for any special budgetary allocation that will move the businesses of the region forward, it is the Northeast sub-region.
We have a lot of solid minerals in the entire northeastern part of Nigeria. If you talk of places like Taraba, we have a lot of potentials there. Lagos, Bauchi, Gombe. In fact, the entire northeastern part of Nigeria has the potential for such kind of infrastructures to be developed. Therefore, there is a need for the Shippers Council to chip in into development of these infrastructures. And we are so grateful to the Executive Secretary for doing that.
Before I came in here today, I thought is that shipping is a no-go area for women in northeastern Nigeria because even our men didn't stand firm as their partners in the southern parts, maybe because of the distance between the north and the south. All our thought is that if you want to go into shipping, you have to be running from your state to Lagos. But with today's exhibition, I have learned that by bringing shippers' activities to Northeast, definitely we women can be accommodated into shipping business. And I have taken it as my take home to sensitize more women who are even stronger than me in business to come up and join the Shippers Council and begin to be active in the shipping activities.
Dr. Akuta's visit to Northeast Zone embodied his leadership style of fostering inclusivity and collaboration to drive progress.
Nigerian Shippers Council will continue to engage with stakeholders in the industry for effective and efficient service delivery and to ensure the inland dry port's success. Up next, we direct our focus to the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. In a historic move, Nigerian government has directed Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, to commence disbursement of the long-delayed Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, over 20 years after it was established. Spearheaded by the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, and backed by President Bola Tinubu GCFR, the initiative aims to boost indigenous shipping by providing up to $25 million in funding per company for vessel acquisition. The fund, administered through approved lending institutions, is designed to enhance local capacity, reduce dependence on foreign vessels, and stimulate job creation and economic growth. Oyetola described it as a strategic shift to empower Nigerian maritime operators and strengthen national competitiveness. Industry leaders have praised the move as a watershed moment, marking Nigeria's serious re-entry into the global maritime space through local content development and sustainable economic planning. This is more than funding. It is a bold step towards maritime sovereignty. It is now time to join Idowu Ogungbemi on our Tidbit segment for local updates and international news.
It's another wonderful time to have you on the Tidbit segment of The Shipper. I am Idowu Ogungbemi, bringing you developments and happenings from the maritime sector. There are some interesting stories lined up, so let's get started. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Shippers Council, Dr. Akuta Pius Emohen, paid an official visit to NSC's Northeast Zonal Coordinating Office in Bauchi State, where he was warmly received by Acting Director Mr. Nanle Nambo. The visit was to assess the Council's regional activities and reinforce its pivotal role in trade facilitation and port economic regulation. Speaking in a meeting with the Council staff, Dr. Akuta assured the Northeast Directorates of unwavering support from the headquarters, emphasizing equal attention to all regional offices to drive national objectives. He commended staff for their dedication and encouraged increased efforts as the Council prepares for the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency.
It was a duty upon myself to go around all the zonal offices to know actually what is happening, have first-hand information about the plight of the staff at these zonal offices across the country. I have gone around. Northeast and North Central were the only zones left out. Coming here today, and it is after that I can now sit down and also analyze what is happening. This zone is very important to the Nigerian Shippers Council. And the fact that we are trying to transit to the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency, it's also quite important that we strengthen our zones and see how we can partake of trade activities in a manner that will be sustainable for economic growth. Look at what is happening globally now with the new tariff war that is launched by the United States. We also need to be up and doing to sit up and see how we can integrate our zones into what we're doing at the headquarters.
In his welcome address, the Acting Director of the Northeast Zone, Mr. Nanle Nambo, highlighted the Northeast Zone's roles, provided an overview of the office accomplishments, and discussed operational challenges.
It would be interesting to know that no executive secretary in the past has ever stepped through in this office for an official engagement. So this is the very first since this office was established in 2002, 23 years after. The visit comes at the right time when the Council is going through transformation process from what it is today to Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency. This would not have been possible without your unrelented efforts. It is our prayer that the bill that is before the President will soon be assented to. On behalf of our staff, I want to express our profound gratitude to the ESCO for making the welfare of staff a topmost priority. This has not only boosted the morale of staff, but has also cushioned the hardship we are facing as Nigerians. On our part, we will continue to be hardworking and resilient in our work, and also give you all the necessary support and encouragement as you continue to reposition the Council to be the foremost regulatory agency.
We encourage you to follow our social media pages at NG Shippers on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube for more of our latest updates, events, and information. Let's take a look at our complaint register for the week. Nigerian Shippers Council has received 4 complaints. While 3 of these complaints have been resolved, 1 is still ongoing. These include issues with on-hold container numbers, container retrieval, non-release of cargo after payment, and arbitrary charges. We encourage stakeholders to visit our website at www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng for more information or to lodge their concerns. Now, let's switch our focus to the international maritime news. A new report has indicated that the proposed South Korea-Europe green shipping corridor could cut carbon emissions by over 70% along key trade routes between Pyeongtaek Port and major European automotive hubs. The report, titled Charting a Net Zero Pathway, published by South Korea's non-profit organization Solutions for the Climate, proposes the establishment of a green shipping for automobile import and export in South Korea and major European ports, presenting strategic pathways for the decarbonization of the maritime sector. The Green Corridor is positioned as a key step in the maritime sector's green transition and a leading model for long-distance, low-emission shipping. With the International Maritime Organization's recent announcement of the Net Zero Framework, the Korea-Europe Partnership offers a timely opportunity to fill the leadership vacuum in global shipping decarbonization. China Merchants Industry, Nanjing has held a ship handover and naming ceremony for the 9,200 CEU dual-fuel car carrier, built for China's plug-in hybrid electrical vehicle manufacturer. According to China Merchant, the ship has a loading capacity of 9,200 standard car spaces and is the largest car carrier delivered in the world. With a speed of 19 knots, the BYD Shenyang is understood to be 219.9 meters long, 37.7 meters wide, and has 16 decks. It is reportedly features a dual-fuel propulsion system to meet the International Maritime Organization's 3rd stage requirement for energy efficiency and carbon emissions. China Merchant revealed that the ship is equipped with a battery hybrid system and a shaft generator. And that concludes this week's edition of Tidbit on the Shipper. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week with more insight from the maritime world.
For more than 5 decades, we have empowered and protected the interests of shippers in the nation's maritime industry. Our focus is to facilitate trade, regulate tariffs and rates, as well as handle shippers' complaints on cargo losses, damage and non-delivery. We offer dispute resolution mechanism for shipping and trade disputes between shippers and service providers. We are Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, your gateway to a thriving maritime sector. Nigerian Shippers Council will meet you at the port of your need.
It has been a pleasure having you join us as usual on the program. We look forward to doing this with you again on our next episode. Follow us on social media at NG Shippers for more updates. Till then, have a swimmingly great week ahead.